adjusting the volume on the Bluetooth system. Her sharp, worried tones made my ears ache. "Ava," she said on a sigh. "I know you've been a little lost this past month, but this feels rash. You've always worked a computer job from home. Now suddenly you're applying to be a caretaker?" I'd told her a little bit about the job I was applying for, but not all. I hadn't told her how the position had come to my attention, or that the job was in Alabama, or that I'd driven through the night to get here. It didn't matter that I was 27 years old. She'd have thrown a fit if she thought for a second I wasn't taking good care of myself. I almost hadn't answered her call at all, but that would have only sent her into a blind panic. It was better to ease her fears now, get them out of the way. I didn't want her worrying about me. She'd had a lifetime of that already. It was only in the last couple of years that she could breathe more easily, sleep better, and live a normal life without feeling like she always had to be on alert to keep me safe. I didn't want to go back to what used to be. "I think a change of pace will be good for me," I finally said. I swallowed hard. Get me out of my comfort zone. It was a gray morning, the sky filled with low-hanging clouds. Leftover rain droplets from a storm that had rolled through in the wee hours of the morning sat fat and sparkly on the edges of my bug-splattered windshield as I glanced at the dashboard clock. 8:38. I drummed my fingers on the steering wheel, unable to stop thinking about the letter that had set this trip in motion. Inside the envelope had been a wrinkled piece of paper, folded neatly in thirds. It was a typed help wanted ad that looked to have been crumpled up at one point, then smoothed out. At the top of it, someone had written me a note. Someone. Alex? The short, scribbled message had several of my ex-boyfriend Alexander's earmarks. The cheesy buttercup line, that's exactly something he would say. He had a way of making old-timey phrases sound endearing. Plus, that double X, it's how he'd always signed off on his text messages. The handwriting could have been his, that slanting, masculine scrawl, but I didn't know for sure and didn't have anything to compare it to other than a belated birthday card he'd given me back in June. But that had only XX Alex handwritten on it. He'd been a nice guy, but not overly sentimental and often forgetful, always too focused on the next thing to simply be present, to take notice, to just be. That, honestly, was one of the many reasons I'd broken up with him after only 3 months of dating. We'd parted the same way we'd started, as friends, and made promises to stay that way. But he'd pushed those boundaries in the weeks after the breakup. And then he was gone. "All right, Ava," Mom said. "I'll let it go for now. What time is the interview?" If the letter had come from Alex, why? How? I let out a frustrated huff of air, my breath making a soft whistling sound as if testing its wings in the unfamiliar humidity. I had a suspicion about a reason, but the how baffled me. I supposed it was possible he'd mailed the letter before he passed away. It could have been lost for a month in the mail system, then found and delivered recently. That kind of thing happened all the time. All the time. But why send a letter? As someone who had his phone with him 24/7, why not just snap a picture of the want ad and text it to me? That seemed more like something Alexander would do. Snail mail was too old school for him. Plus, why not put a return address on the envelope or sign the note? Also, it was only recently that I'd started looking for a new job. I hadn't needed one when he was still here. So how would he have known? It had only been 2 weeks since I was fired, unable to concentrate on much of anything in the aftermath of Alex's death. "Ava?" Mom asked. "You still there?" "I'm here, just lost in thought." "I asked what time the interview is," she said. Without